This week at Youth Group, we went over 1 John chapter 3, verses 11 through 24. Now, at this point in the book of 1 John, it feels like John is being so repetitive because he keeps saying the same things over and over again. He keeps repeating the two commandments that he thinks are the most important commandments. And these are commandments he heard from Jesus and that he keeps saying we've heard from the very beginning. And these verses are no different. He says the two commandments that we have heard over and over and over again from the beginning are that we should love God and that we should love others. And he repeats that again in this section, I think 7 times in some 7 different ways. He does first let us know that it doesn't just mean in the beginning like the law, but he actually points to an example from before the law. He says, in the beginning, Cain and Abel, Cain did not do a good job of loving his brother and therefore was from the evil one. He says, actually, Cain didn't love his brothers. He was walking in darkness. He literally murdered his brother. This is also the first time that we see John talk about the practical ways that we can love other people. And he says there are 2 ways that we're shown that we can love other people practically. The first way is that you can die for other people. He says Jesus showed us how to love other people really well and that he came to earth and died for us on a cross. He says we can love others by dying for them. But he also gives us another way that we can love other people well. He says, if you have material goods, if you have things, and you see people who have less than you, then you can give to them what it is that they need. He says it's very simple. It says you simply see what other people need and you help them to get it. One thing that we touched on in these verses that I thought was particularly good is the way that he talks about these 2 commandments at the end of this set of verses. They're the same 2 commandments that he's given us from the beginning, to love God and to love others. But in chapter 3, verse 23, he tells us it in a different way. He says, and this is his commandment, that we believe in the name of his Son, Jesus Christ, and love one another just as he commanded us. So in this example, instead of saying that you just love God, he tells us the specific way that we love God. The way that you can love God today, the way that you can do that really well, is by believing in his Son. In fact, there is no way to love God without believing in his Son, Jesus Christ. If you don't believe in his Son, Jesus Christ, you don't love God. But if you do believe in his Son, Jesus Christ, then you love God. And the automatic response to that, this is apart from salvation now, but what happens when you are saved because you believe in Jesus Christ is that you begin to love others well through giving of your life to them and through giving of everything you own. Now, this doesn't just mean you need to go out today and give all your stuff to a poor person, although maybe God is calling you to do that. But it means that we should be looking for opportunities to serve others. Look at places where others have less than us and give them the things that we have. John says not to only love them in word or in talk, but to love them in deed and in truth, to love them with your actions. So that's what we are left with from today's verses. It feels repetitious and redundant that John keeps going over the same stuff, but it's really important that we realize that the commands God gives us are to love him by believing in his Son and to love others